Hello again. This video is going to be about how we can know what to say when we turn a tarot card during a reading rather than, have an empty mind or a blank mind. So we turn the card and we think, I have no idea what to say. This is not a good situation to be in, and I'm going to give you an idea, a suggestion on what you can do so that you don't suffer from that kind of problem that readers sometimes suffer from. So as an example, let me say, let's say we have two friends and they both lose a job, right? So they've both been laid off. One of them doesn't mind that much because let's say they wanted to try something else anyway, right? But they hadn't been doing anything about it. So losing the job actually can be quite good because now they're going to be forced to do something and they don't mind, and gives them a chance to try some different things. So if you make suggestions to that person, they're going to listen, they're going to cooperate, they're going to be in a receptive frame of mind, and they can see the sense of maybe the suggestions that you make. But let's say the other person is devastated by losing their job, and so they get depressed, they think all is lost, they're doomed, they're never going to find another job. So if you make those same suggestions to the second person, try this, try that, they're going to say things like, why bother? There's no point. It's because they're defeated before they start. So with this person, the second person, there's no point talking about looking for new opportunities, or when new chances come along, take them, because, good things will come from it, because they don't believe it. They're defeated. And so with that second person, the first thing you have to do is get them settled down, maybe get them calm, or get them less fearful, right? So with these two friends, or two people like that, we know what to say. We know what we can suggest or what we can say. We know how we can say it, right? Because you can put things one way. Maybe with the first person, you can be blunt and direct. But with the second person, if you want to make a positive suggestion, you can't just come out and say it. You maybe got to, approach it carefully or cautiously, right? You don't want to say too much too soon because you know that the person is going to back off. So we know we understand that what we say and how we say it and when we say it, right, it depends on the person at that time. So what I want to do with tarot card reading is I want to suggest that we pick a card at random to represent the questioner so that we can know who we're talking to, or who we're dealing with at that time. And when we know who we're dealing with, we're going to be able to handle, or we're going to know better how to handle the situation and how to handle answering the question or the questions that the person has. Because if you think about it, after the reading, the person goes back into their life, and they still get the same problems to deal with. So what can we do in a reading, actually, when they go back into their life? I think at least we can show them what to do next, right? And if we can show them what to do next, that can make a difference and bring about a change. And what we suggest, or the suggestion that we make based on the card or the cards that come up, there can be something that they remind themselves of from time to time. So the point we make in the reading can be useful on more than one occasion, right? Even if it's a small point. We may not be able to solve the complete problem for the person, or even to suggest how the whole thing can be fixed, because the situation the person's in can be complicated and it can involve other people, and that's always a problem. But if we can't solve the problem, we can help the person to dissolve the problem so they can be free of it. So I'm going to say it's a good idea to keep it simple in the beginning. So I'm saying pick just one card for the questioner and keep it in the back of your mind during the reading. You may turn the card and talk about it with the questioner, or just knowing what it is, keep it in the back of your mind and use it for your own guidance in what to say, right? So maybe you get the Two of Batons, and it's this one here. Two of Batons, right? The fellow standing in the tower overlooking the countryside. So let's say the first friend is the one who doesn't mind losing the job that much. So, and you get the two batons for that particular individual. So let's say during the reading, they start talking about having a long-term plan. And you can agree that that's a good idea. And you can talk more about it, right? Because of the nature of this particular card. The fellow's standing up high, looking out, seeing the long term, seeing the distance and having a long-term plan. So if they talk about planning and the long term, that makes sense based on the card that you picked. So you can talk more about it. Or if they ask you what to do, right? I'm stuck. Okay, I have lost a job. What am I going to do? You can talk about having an overview the same way that the fellow does on top of the tower. So like the man in the picture, he has an overview. He knows what he wants. Do you know what you want? And if you don't, then make some decisions and start the ball rolling. And that's based on the picture on that two of batons. Or maybe you get the Six of Cups, which is this one. The young boy and girl exchanging the gift, right? So maybe you get the Six of Cups, and the person's talking about the need to do something new. So maybe you ask, because of the card, what were your childhood dreams? You know, when you were little, what did you always want to do that you haven't done? Because maybe that's what you ought to look at next. If you always wanted to be a musician or write songs, why don't you be a musician or play music and write some songs and see where it leads? Right? So think about your childhood dreams because of the Six of Cups and do something about them now. And you'll find that it's going to lead you into a purposeful direction or in a good direction. You may not end up being a musician, but nevertheless, you'll meet other people, you'll develop certain qualities, certain abilities, you'll try certain things that are going to lead you in a good direction. And so you're going to be in a stronger position to find a better job or find a job that you would like. Or by contrast, think about the person who's very upset. So maybe you get a king. This happens to be the King of Cups, who's sitting on his throne. Right? So the person's very upset. I don't know. I lost the job. What am I going to do? So what do you say? Relax. Sit still. Like the king is sitting still. So you sit still, and if you sit still, you'll attract stillness. Because if you're agitated and fearful, all you do is attract agitation and fearfulness, because we get back what we give out. So if you sit still and are patient and let time pass and get yourself together, then the situation is going to change. It's going to be improved. So the person leaves the reading, but at least they've got something they can do because you've told them to sit and relax. It's only one step, but it's a good and useful and a correct next step for them to begin to solve the problem. Or maybe you get the Nine of Batons. I've got it here. This is this one, the fellow standing in front of the stockade, whatever it happens to be. So it looks like the person's on guard duty. So the person's stuck, I lost my job, I'm devastated, what can I do? And it looks like the person is on guard duty, right? So you talk to the question about being attentive. Like if you're a guard, you're supposed to, look around and pay attention to what's going on. So you say to the person, be attentive to what's going on and be ready to protect what you have in the same way that the fellow in the Nine of Batons would protect what he's got. So if you're going to be a guard and protect what you've got, you need to know what you actually have, right? So make a list. Make a list of the skills that you've got, or what you're good at, which means that, and you're going to discover things you hadn't realized about yourself because of the list that you make. And it's going to give you courage to persevere. Or maybe what they do is they realize there's a couple of things they ought to be better at. So that gives them the next step. Okay, I need to learn to do this. And once I've done that, then I'm going to be in a stronger position to get the job that I want. So by making a list like that, or understanding that they're a guard and they're meant to guard and protect what they value, if they make the list, they're going to be in a clearer and stronger position, and this is going to make a difference for them. So it may not seem like much to us, right? But we're outsiders for the question. And I think part of the value of the tarot is it always gives useful pointers for the person's current situation. And if they follow along with what's shown by the cards that come up, it's going to change things. So the person's going to get the chance to live better and live more fully. Because you don't need to know everything before you do anything, right? You just need to know what to do next. And if we keep it simple in this way with one card, that's going to help to make things clear. You can pick more than one card, but I'm suggesting that we keep it simple in the beginning and stick with one single card. So I've got a couple of other variations in this idea of knowing what to say, and I'll deal with them next in the next couple of videos. But if you want some more right now, take a look at the blog. It's www.thetarotblog.com, and I've been posting there quite regularly recently. And if you want more still, then take a look at the tarot training, which is about videos about reading the past, present, and future spread. So if you have comments, you can leave them down below, but Google changed things again, and I don't know how it works. But maybe you understand it, and that's maybe you can explain it to me. But you can always send me an email to bllntr@yahoo.com, and we can take it from there. Okay, thanks a lot.